Hello everyone, it's Justine. Today I'm using the Magical Deer die set to make a really pretty card. Let's dive right in. I have my deer's body all die cut out, and now I'm going to show you how to get the color to show through. Now on this back here I have the color just glued right down, and I don't know if there's a term for that, but that is showing the color one way. And later I will show you another way to get that color to show through without gluing paper to the back. Now there's other pieces of the deer, like the little beard area and the head that I just pointed to, that really show all of the pieces of this deer, but I will just say them as I go because there are certainly a number of them. So I die cut out the head and this little nose area that I'm going to just use my jewel picker to press down on. And then I will go in with my deer ears. I keep wanting to say the deer's ears. I guess that would be correct, but it just sounds silly. Anyway, I really like the overall style of the deer. I think that it's kind of Scandinavian-ish, if you will, and it's part of the collection Winter Tales, and in that collection they do have a number of other dies, like the Nordic ornaments and the folk song, which is kind of like a pretty little deer. They also have one called Enchanted Garden, so I'll link the whole collection below, as well as the deer die cut, which is Magical Deer. These are all from Spellbinders, by the way. They recently updated their website, and now they have a UK version of their website. So it makes ordering from the UK even more simple. All right, I'll speed up the rest of my process of assembling until I get to the inlay section. So basically, I'm just gluing my deer together before I put the deer on the card itself. Again, I'm using that Barely Art liquid glue for everything. And then I'm using a combination of my jewel picker and my reverse tweezers to get all of my pieces on. These little hooves are pretty simple. They're, I think, all the same, so I didn't really pay attention to what hoof went on what foot. I also have a little part of the tail, and then there's this blanket. And since I had to die cut out multiple things, I had two pieces here. I have a black and a purple that I had from die cutting, and I think you're only supposed to put one on, but I ended up putting both on to add a little extra fringe. Then I put on my deer blanket, and just to reference, I did use the glue behind method for showing color behind my deer's blanket. But now I will show you how I inlay. So I'm first putting down the glue in the sections where the die or the paper will go. I'll just pop on my nose really quickly here. And then these little inlays that I have are just tiny. They are probably the size of, I don't know, maybe a pinhead. You can see, for reference, my fingers and these tiny little holes. It's like a mole. So I'm using my jewel picker and setting them inside the area. I'm inlaying them, or laying them in, basically. And any glue that I get on my pieces will dry, so I'm not too concerned about that. And the inlays are light purple, so it almost looks like I'm doing literally nothing and just moving glue around, but I am, in fact, inlaying those in. Then I will do the same thing with these little black dots that I'm going to put in on the head. Personally, I like putting the paper behind and not inlaying because I find this a little tedious, and I am not a very organized crafter, and sometimes I will lose those little dots rather easily. But sometimes you got to pull it together to make it happen, so that's the time. Now I'm going to work on the antlers, and I chose to use a ton of flowers on my antlers. You certainly don't have to add flowers on, but I thought, why not? It's already a purple deer, so let's just go for it. With that being said, I think that this deer die set would make a really cool masculine card. I know that sometimes in the crafting world it's difficult to find masculine inspiration, and I think that my dad, or really anyone in my life, I mean my husband probably too, would appreciate a deer card. I know that it's kind of stylized a little bit, but if you die cut it out with brown paper and made it look a little more realistic, I think it could pass for a realistic deer. Maybe a little less flowers though, but you know, flowers are beautiful, and I think that men can like flowers too, so go for it. Anyway, there's these little, and when I say little, I mean really little. They look like Swedish fish to me, but they're in fact the leaves for the flowers. There's kind of a long paddle end and then a shorter end for that glue to hang on to. So I'm glad that they did that for us. Spellbinders is the they that I'm talking about right there. Anyway, I'm just going to add the leaf, the glue, and then the flower. I will have leftover flowers, so I will scatter those on the snow with my little deer. I'm not sure if it reads on camera, but I do have that snow on the bottom of my card, and that is sparkly glitter paper, and I just picked that up at Walmart, so it's nothing fancy, nothing too crazy, but I love glitter paper, and I just thought, why not use that for snow? Also, the background of my card is using an embossing folder from Spellbinders. I don't quite remember the name right now off the top of my head, but I do know that it was part of a monthly subscription, like a club embossing folder of the month from Spellbinders, but I'm not sure if it's on the website anymore anyway, but if it is, when I post this video, I will link it in the description. But really, you could use any embossing folder in the background. I just wanted to have a little texture behind the deer, just to give it a little bit of texture, like I said, because I think that if it had the sparkly ground and the ornate deer and then just a plain white background, I think it would have left the card a little bit unfinished. I originally wanted to use the Happy Holidays die set. This is the classic Happy Holidays that just came out here, part of the holiday cheer enclosed, but I didn't have enough room, which is probably my own fault, but oh well. It ended up being a happy accident, just like Bob Ross says. But I ended up choosing a stamp set that I had from Spellbinders to use instead, and I went with the sentiment Winter Wishes. My mistake, Wintry Wishes is the sentiment. And I'm going to use the VersaFine black ink on this, and I just stamped it once. I always think it's a bit of a risk to not use my Misty when I stamp like this, but I don't know, maybe I was feeling wild when I was making this card. Who knows? Anyway, I will just finish off my card by adding these little flowers scattered on the snow around my deer. Thank you so much for watching, and if you've made it all the way to the end of the video, cheers to you. And if you've liked this card, please let me know by hitting the like button on this video. And if you're interested in seeing more videos like this in your subscription page, go ahead and hit the subscribe button to this channel, and those will show up on your subscription page automatically. And if you hit the notification bell, that will actually alert you when you log into YouTube that I have posted a video. So it's even easier for you to find some videos. Thank you again for watching, and as I've put my finishing touch with my Wink of Stella on, I will say thanks for watching and goodbye.